Okay, so I think I am all set up. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So I apologize for having to reschedule this. The Chicagoland area had some really wild storms yesterday. We had tornadoes and all types of stuff. So yesterday was a little crazy. So I decided to go ahead and just push yesterday's live to today. So I have switched some things around with my resume critique live based off of some feedback that I received. So this time around and going forward, like I have a slide deck that I'll be going through to kind of walk you guys through all of the talking points that I will be touching on to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more structured so I'm not just kind of rambling on and so on and so forth. So, I don't see anybody who's popped in just yet, but I am going to go ahead and get started just because it is 6:02, and let me go ahead and share my screen with you all really quick. Let's see. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see the two screens that I have here. Here, let me double check just to be sure. Here, let me try it one more time. Okay. Okay, I think I have it. Okay. I'm hoping that this is going right. I don't know. StreamYard is a little weird where it doesn't really show me what I'm seeing unless I am on the screen. So for this version, or I guess this episode of Resume Critique Live, the client that I'm going to be spotlighting, his name is Donovan Williams, and we worked together a couple of months ago on his resume, and I felt like Donovan is a really good example and someone whose resume I wanted to highlight because he made a lot of, I feel like, common mistakes that people make all the time. I feel like majority of the resumes that I review and the clients that I highlight for this series make a lot of common mistakes that I feel like everybody can relate to. Really simple, mistakes and errors that can be tweaked very easily to be able to have more resume success. So again, for this episode, I am highlighting Mr. Donovan Williams. And let's see. Yeah, just wanted to go over the key resume mistakes that he's making so that you all have some takeaways from this and you can, watch this live or watch the replay and understand, some mistakes that you may be making on your resume that Donovan made that you can fix on your resume so that you can start getting more interviews. So just a quick overview about Donovan, right? So as you can follow along in the slide deck to the right, an overview for Donovan is that he is a property manager staff accountant. So he is someone who has one of those dual roles, but even though they don't give him the official property manager title, he does more property management tasks and responsibilities versus staff accountant. And sometimes, depending on what's going on with the company, he does a blend of both. So he was in one of those positions where he felt like he was doing dual work, but he wasn't necessarily getting the pay. He does enjoy his job. Like, he likes doing more of the property management side of things rather than the staff accountant side of things. And he's looking to make more money. So what he did discover in his current role is that he really likes managing the projects associated with his role and some of the implementations that he's been able to help with at the company for the past 8 years or so. So as you guys can see, he's been there since May 2018, which was, well, not 8 years ago. I'm sorry, my math is a little bit off. It's 6 years. So he's been there for 6 years. So he likes, doing the project management side of things. So like helping launch the opening of new properties, maybe building new properties on the construction side, just project management in general. He's also discovered that project management pays way more than what he's currently doing. So now he's like, hey, I want to go ahead and get into project management. I don't want to do property management or staff accounting anymore because I want to make more money. Project management is the way for me to go. So he's kind of making a little bit of a career transition, a very minor career pivot. When we were working together, or when we started working together, when I completed his client consultation, he had been applying to jobs for about 3 months and he wasn't landing any interviews. He landed a couple of interviews, but they were for jobs that he didn't want. They were more directly aligned with what he's currently doing, but he doesn't want to do that anymore. So for his resume, we're going to go ahead and review why recruiters aren't calling him based on this resume alone. Looking at the document from a recruiting and a hiring manager's perspective, what is this document missing that's causing them to kind of brush him off to the side? We're also going to go over some key resume mistakes that are hindering and delaying his job search. So as we know, when you are applying to jobs, most people have a time frame or they have a clock that's going, right? They have an idea of when they want to begin a new job, when they want to start a new job. And the longer it takes for you to get interviews, ultimately, the longer it's going to take for you to get an offer. So, 3 months into his job search, he's like, hey, I've been applying to all these positions. I'm not even getting interviews, nonetheless an offer, which is keeping me in this role that I really don't want to be in for longer than I have to be. And then last but not least, we're just going to go over, again, some simple changes that he could make to his resume to start seeing more success. Now, I did revamp his resume already, and I have debated sharing the before and after with you guys in these series. So if that's something that you would be interested in seeing, please let me know. Wasn't sure if I should include it in that. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get started on these resume mistakes that Donovan is making. So number one on the list, if you guys watch my videos and you're subscribed to my channel, you already know that he's using a template, and I preach that you should never, ever, ever use a template. If you are going to use a template, you really want to make sure that it is ATS friendly, that it doesn't have, a lot of key, I guess, issues or design layouts that can cause you to, I guess, not put your best professional foot forward. So with this template, first thing is that this is really weird. So he's unable to have like fully fleshed out sentences. It looks like these are like column blocks or text blocks or something, but this template is a little funky. Like his name is here, and then his phone number and his contact information is here. All of his information is kind of positioned to the right, very like single file-ish. So this lets me know that this could potentially be a columnized resume template, which is the type of templates that you ideally want to stay away from. This, again, it wastes a lot of space because he can't have like fully fleshed sentences. These bullet points looks a little weird, which lets me know that this may be a what is it called? A character that may be in a really weird font that's not identifiable either by Word or Adobe Acrobat, which is what I'm in right now. Which also brings me to another point really quick. When I originally opened his resume, I couldn't open it without downloading it. And if I didn't have a subscription or a membership to Adobe Acrobat, I wouldn't have been able to open the document. So whatever file format that he downloaded this template in would not be compatible with the average ATS system, as a possibility. I had to convert the file into Microsoft Word, and then again, to even pull it up, I had to open it in Adobe Acrobat. But if a recruiter or whomever doesn't have the software, they wouldn't have been able to open it. So that is a really big issue. So templates are not all bad, you guys, but err on the side of caution when you are using them, because sometimes they can do more harm than good. So that's one mistake that he's making, the first mistake that I noticed right off the top. Number two is that he has a weak professional summary. So I recorded a video on my channel talking about how to write the perfect or the most attention grabbing professional summary to open your resume. Now, instead of saying profile, how he has here, this should just say qualifications, profile, or professional summary. Naming it profile is a little bland. And then this whole paragraph here says a lot of nothing. So just reading it aloud: attentive accountant offering a strong work ethic and persistence to complete tasks in a timely manner, result-oriented individual eager to utilize my analytical skills, put my accounting knowledge into practice, and make a positive contribution. This reads more like an objective statement, which is a outdated resume, like an outdated resume rule, starting your resume with an objective and continuing. So reliable professional with a verifiable record of compliance, knowledge, and skill, seeking employment with room for growth. Yeah, so this is an objective statement. It's basically an objective statement, but he, renamed it as profile because I'm pretty sure he may have heard through the grapevine that you should start your resume with the qualifications profile or professional summary. This whole profile, the whole profile, the whole 3 to 4 sentences says a lot of nothing. There's no profile. There's no value in here. There's no like key accomplishments. He mentions his analytical skills and accounting knowledge, but we don't really know what that entails. So what does accounting knowledge mean? Is it, the balancing? Is it the financial reports? Like, it's not specific and detailed enough to generate any interest. And since he's starting his resume with that, I can see how this could be a turnoff for a recruiter, because it's like, okay, you told me that you're looking for employment for room for growth. You have a verifiable record of compliance knowledge. Like, what is this? This says a whole lot of nothing, right? If I were a recruiter, I would still have a lot of question marks regarding, like, why should I call you for an interview if I'm looking for a person who can do ABC, XYZ. Also, he's going into project management. So why are you applying to project management roles with a resume that starts out with accounting information? This also lets me know that he didn't target his resume. And I should have had that on this list, but this document is not targeted. If I were somebody hiring for a project management job and I see accountant and I see accounting knowledge, it's like, this is not what I'm looking for. I would immediately close out of the resume altogether, not gonna lie. Mistake number 3, his skills are too far down. His skills are also too few. So he has Yardi, Voyager, Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, financial analysis, data entry, data visualization. There was supposed to be a dash here to separate this properly. It's too far down, number 1. His skills section should be right under his profile. It should be positioned like right, oh man. It should be positioned like right under here. Skills, and I recorded a video on this teaching you all how to properly list your skills on your resume. But in that video, I did talk about how skills is probably like the top 2 to 3 things that recruiters look for. So number 1 to 2 tends to be skills, followed by your educational background, and then your experience and your past roles and things like that. So for skills to be as important as it is, not only is it kind of weak, right? He only has like 5 skills listed here, which is insane, way too low. And then it's positioned in the wrong spot. So it needs to be much, much higher. Number 4 is that throughout his job bullet points, he has a lot of task-oriented bullet points. And I would also add another ding here because these are kind of grammatically a little off. Like, there are some things that are capitalized that should not be capitalized. These are not fully fleshed out sentences, and they should have periods at the end. There's a rumor going around that you don't need a period at the end of every job bullet point, but as an English, as a journalism and an English like major in college, proper sentence structure means that you have a period at the end of every sentence. A job statement, job bullet point is a sentence. It needs a period. So stop letting people tell you guys that you don't need periods at the end of your sentences on your resume. Yes, you do. It's grammatically correct. And, this should not be capitalized. It's not necessary. This also does not need to be capitalized, right? So in addition to task-oriented bullet points, there's also some grammatical or some grammar errors here as well, which is a big no-no. Grammar errors, I believe I did a video on this as well, is another big red flag for recruiters. Like, I know not everybody is the best at writing, and that's okay, but there are so many tools out there to help you all make sure that you don't have grammar errors and typos in your resume. So with task-oriented bullet points, what I mean is that instead of talking about the impact and the outcome and the reason why preparing these financial reports were so important, he just has, here that he's done it, basically, right? So prepare and upload approved financials. But when we're talking about communicating your value, a question to ask is like, okay, well, why do the approved financials matter, right? Why do you need to prepare these? Is it so that the business understands how much money they're spending, where the $2 million budget is going every month? Is it to monitor the spending of the $2 million budget? Is it to cut costs with the $2 million budget, right? So when you're putting a job bullet or you're putting a sentence on your resume as part of your job bullet, ask yourself, why does this matter? There's also no numbers in here. So as a staff accountant / property manager, I would expect to see way more numbers throughout here. Finance resumes are probably one of my favorite resumes to write just because there's so much value in what they do and it's so easy to pull out all of those numbers and identify those numbers. But I understand that for other roles, it can be a little tricky. So when we rewrote his resume for this in particular, we just zoned in on how many reports he created throughout his entire tenure. So from May 2018 up until when we started working together on his resume, and then the amount of money total that he ultimately approved and was in charge of and things like that. So stay away from just task-oriented bullet points in general. They don't communicate your value. It more so provides just a general picture of maybe your day in the life in your role, or maybe even a week or a month. And that's something that you don't want to do. You really want to include, you really want to show hey, this is my value. This is why my work matters and is important to the company. And this is why I do this. This is why it helps the organization. I hope that makes sense. Number 5 is that he has irrelevant experience in information. So I feel like the reason why he has irrelevant information is because his resume goes a little bit too far back. So as you all know, in my other videos, I preach the importance of not going back more than 10 years into your job history. And he has a job on here from 2013, and it's like, why? It's 2024, 2023 when we worked together. So I guess still within that time frame, but even still, it's not relevant, right? You were a security guard. That's great. I'm assuming he was doing that as he was going to school, which is fine. But for the premise of this resume, it should have been left off. And, he would have had technically only one job on there, but he's had it for the past 6 years. So it would have been fine. Also, while he was in school, he pledged a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. He was on the student government board. This is all really great information, but having this on here makes him seem more as a college graduate or an entry-level professional, and he has much more than that to offer. So when we, again, redid his resume, I took all of this out just because it wasn't relevant. I could see if maybe him being the president of NPHC, he potentially did some project management work there. I would have kept that if that was the case, but it wasn't. So we just went ahead and took it off. I stress the fact that you only have 2 pages, you guys, when it comes to your resume. So you have to make sure that the information is relevant, that it's relative, right? That it's relatable, that it has value, because this is just wasting even more space. Next on the list is that he has present tense for past jobs. And this is another kind of a grammar issue that a lot of people make. You guys, past tense is for past jobs. Past jobs should be used in past tense. And what I mean by that is that this should say maintained. This should say greeted, right? So just general grammatical grammar rule of thumb. If you're talking about something that happened in the past, you use past tense. And then present jobs should use present tense. So this one is fine. This one should have been phrased a little bit differently, in the same way that he used past tense for his activities when he was in school. It's a really simple thing, but it matters. Again, as I'm like the grammar police through and through, you know, putting my degree to good work. Yes. So yeah. And I think I had that on here twice. Yes, I did. So my bad about that. And I think I have some of these on here twice. Nevertheless, anyway, number 7 is he still has his graduation years on here. So that is a big no-no. And I believe I did a video talking about ageism and how to avoid it in your job search, how to not necessarily hide your age, because no one should ever be ashamed or you know, shamed for what their age is, but you don't want recruiters to be able to guess your age. You want to be able to conceal it as much as possible. So I did go ahead and remove the graduation years just because they weren't necessary. They also weren't relevant, and they also were a little bit further back. So he completed his associates back in 2009, and then he got his bachelor's in 2018. That's a bit of a gap. So I just went ahead and took the graduation years off entirely. Next on the list, number 8 would be poor design and layout. So this this is so humdrum. I'm actually really surprised that this template is so blah. I feel like most templates that I've seen have been over the top. This one is actually underwhelming entirely. So there's a blue bar, this teal blue text, and it's kind of like, that's it. Download it, plug and play the information, and like get on about your day. This is terrible. There's that. I mean, and I did do so much more with his resume. It really came out absolutely fantastic. And I used like a green, gray, and like teal color. So it was like a nice color combination. But you guys can use color, but you just have to be strategic and use it sparingly so that it's not overwhelming. Like, don't have, you know, your job bullet point sentences in teal or blue or yellow or something. Like, don't go overboard with it, but you can use color very subtly. Also, again, this layout does not do him any justice. His education should be towards the bottom because it is not relevant, and also because it's a little dated. Again, his skills should be further up. And then these activities don't need to be here, but I'm assuming that these may have been preset sections as part of the template, which is probably why he laid it out this way. Another reason why you want to stay away from templates, because however they have the template structured or laid out is typically how you enter your information. But depending on your experience and your career level and your background and where you're trying to go next in your next role as you're job searching, it may not be the best layout for you. I always recommend laying out your resume yourself in Microsoft Word. If you want tips on that, I have a video on it on my channel. I highly recommend it. I believe it's titled How to Lay Out Your Resume from Start to Finish. So definitely recommend checking it out. His contact information is formatted a little odd. It really should just be straight across the top, like name, phone number, city and state. That's it. We don't even need a zip code. It's just, again, outdated, not necessary. But again, people don't know that just because it's in the template doesn't mean you necessarily have to enter the information in there. Number 9 is that his job bullet points are copy and pasted. I am in the process of scripting a video talking about like ultimate resume no-nos or something along those lines. And this is high on the list. So you do not want to copy and paste your job descriptions, y'all. Like, I know it's easy to do, to just, you know, go into your HR portal, download your job description, copy, dump it in there, but it's the number one mistake that people make, and it makes it really hard for you to target and customize your resume appropriately. You should not be copy and pasting anything. Everything in your resume should be targeted, custom written, just kind of written from scratch. You don't want to copy and paste, because if you copy and paste, sometimes it doesn't make any sense and it's difficult to kind of infuse the value. What I recommend doing is kind of, doing a brain dump of your accomplishments and things that you have been like noted for or recognized for, major projects, things like that. Like, you don't want to just jot down everything you do and just drop it in here, and you don't want to go into your job descriptions and do the same thing, because we don't know if these job descriptions have proper keywords or anything, right? And we know how important keyword research is. These are repeat bullet points, so we're just going to skip those. I think I meant to add something else into this deck, but I did not. But I feel like these are the main things. I feel like the length, when we did redo his resume, it did end up being 1 page. So the length is totally fine, especially because he's brand new, and he's doing a pivot and he's been at the same job for 6 years. Like, the length is fine. It's just, it's just a little boring. It's a little blah. It looks as though there was no effort put into this. And I tell people, the effort and the energy and what you invest into your resume ultimately is what you're going to get back in your job search. So he downloaded this template on a whim, copy and pasted his job descriptions, probably took him maybe 15, 20 minutes to put this together, but it's taking him longer than 3 months to actually get a job interview, a job offer. And that shows, you guys, the energy that you put into your resume, you're going to get back what you put into it. If you hire a professional, if you take the time to do keyword research, if you take the time to target your resume, you are going to get those results back by potentially getting more interviews, more quality job offers, higher salary offers, or at least, offers from companies that you want to work for at the salary point that you should be at. So I hope that makes sense. And last on this list, I know it's not on the deck, but it's targeting. His resume is not targeted at all. Again, he's looking to go into project management, but everything in here is accounting related, and there is no targeted headline. There's no targeted header or subheader, pre-header here at all. So when a recruiter is looking at his resume, once it opens, you kind of have to search through the document to figure out, okay, where's the project management experience? Where's the, where's the good stuff? And it's not here, right? So way more, the document needs to be targeted. And then we did pivot his resume to read more project management specific rather than just kind of a general resume. Because this to me is a general resume. There, just kind of lists the past couple of jobs he's had, some stuff he's done at school. Like, there wasn't any thought put into this, and it kind of shows. So hate that for him, but again, his resume came out fantastic. So these are simple steps that you can take. Again, try not to use a template. Make sure that you have a very strong professional summary and qualifications profile out the gate. At the very beginning of your resume, include numbers, include statistics, percentages, like dollar amounts, figures, list your core skills and how they have contributed to the growth or the sustainability or, the improvement or the optimization of a company. That's really, really important. Do not have your skills section all the way down here. Always have it after your professional summary. The top 1/4 of the first page of your resume is the most important. And that's where recruiters are always going to look the most. Or look first. So you want to make sure that part of your resume is on point. So like, this whole section should be the hardest hitting part of your resume, period. Avoid task-oriented bullet points. Make sure all of the information is relevant. Do not have hobbies, activities, past collegiate activities, especially if you have graduated some time ago. It's typically okay for recent college graduates to have activities and extracurriculars on here, but not somebody who has been working for the past like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's just not necessary. Again, make sure that you are using present tense for current jobs, past tense for past jobs. where is it? Be knowledgeable, or not knowledgeable. I feel like I'm tongue tied. Be cautious of listing your graduation years, just because we know sometimes they can give away your age. Make sure you have a decent layout. Do not copy and paste your job description. So I think we did 9. That's a total of 9, 9 errors, key errors on this resume. And I was trying to get back to the final slide, but it will not let me. So I'm just going to go ahead and toggle back to the main screen. First time here, and you are doing amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I switched up my thing, you guys. Like I realized before, like I was kind of just rambling through the documents. So I was trying to avoid doing that. But yeah, really simple, easy mistakes that you all can make. And if you follow my channel, then you know for a fact, like I have, there it is. This is the slide I wanted to share. I have so many videos on there giving you all 100% free information on the mistakes that you shouldn't make with your resume. I know writing a resume can seem intimidating, can seem complicated, but it's not. Like, well, it can be, but that is why I'm here, and that's why I create my videos, to make it easier for you guys. If you all need assistance with your resume, I have opened my calendar for the month of March. You can contact me directly at my email. My email address is hello@thompsonresumes.com. You can also visit my website at www.thompsonresumes.com to learn more about my packages, my pricing, the services I offer, my process, etc. And then, of course, feel free to connect with me. I am on LinkedIn, of course, my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but I didn't put it on here. But it's Thompson Resumes. You can find me on Facebook as well. So that was it, you guys. That was it for this live. I'm doing another one tomorrow at I think it's at noon. So if you have any questions, I am here. Any questions that I didn't cover in this video, you can go ahead and drop them in the chat. And I will go ahead and leave a link to my inquiry form also, just so that you have it. If you don't feel like typing it in your browser, you can just go ahead and visit my page that way. So I will stay on, look at the comments. Tasha, great tips. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel like I was inspired by the presentation I did for H&D Abroad. I decided to start doing my lives this way too. So seems like it was a hit. And I don't see any other questions. So I guess I'll go ahead and end this live. I hope you guys have a really great night. The weather here is normal now. Thank goodness. No more hail. Y'all, last night was crazy. Like, I think we had like 4 or 5 tornadoes touch down. It was nuts. We had like quarter size hail. Like it was crazy. So if you are in Chicago or in Indiana, I'm pretty sure you may have gotten some of it too. I hope you guys are safe and okay. I know a town a little bit further west of me got hit pretty bad. There was a lot of damage and they were covering it all over the news. But yeah, have a good night, y'all. And feel free to drop me any questions either in the comments on the replay, or you can just email me. But have a good night. Bye, you guys.